Hello, myself Sunil Ramkrishna. Here basically we are discussing the PHP 22nd number part. Basically. One of the person basically watched the video basically of previous. He literally basically asked the question basically. Yes, Sunil basically, what is power then? Basically? Power supply, power or basically what is this basically? So the Sunil Arnar basically told that for that basically you have to go to the world creation, how the world basically creation started. When basically the world was started basically that time basically when you basically create anything basically it was basically flying basically. For example, assume that basically currently whatever car basically exists, whatever company car, assume that basically BMW, Renault Duster or basically Maruti Suzuki, that car basically when you are going, assume that basically that time basically car was there. So when you place that car into the land, basically, it will not be in the land basically. It will be flying basically. It will be flying basically in above the land basically. Why? Because the creation basically. So one of the person told that what is the topic basically? The topic is power basically. Up to what level the power basically each and every group basically has. So like this basically the each and every car basically will get fly. So one of the person told that yes, yeah, basically car is basically flying. Maruti is flying, Maruti car is flying, Renault Duster basically is flying, BMW is flying basically. So one of the person told that. So slowly basically the world creator basically has done what basically. So he told that basically he first basically control the land basically. But entire land basically control it's not possible from one satellite. So he divided basically the lands basically. As in that basically he broken the land into 150 parts basically. Just taking example basically. That 150 parts basically are the total controlling power basically. So for that basically he created certain level of energies and he basically started passing basically. And that passing basically is what basically? That is the next level of planets basically which is going to create. So one of the person told that next level planet basically creation, that is basically one of the power supply basically. So one person told that here basically earth planet basically what is next generation. So one person basically is doing marriage and he basically is not getting start of the next generation. So here basically his power ended there basically. But one person basically is doing the marriage and he is basically having the next generation. So his next level power basically generated. So in this basically the land basically where he is staying basically they are playing the main role basically. So for example assume that basically Sunil or NAIR basically next generation not started. So in this basically the Indian land basically are responsible for creation and assume that basically Sunil or NAIR basically died here without having basically his marriage, without his next generation, then basically what will happen basically? That only time will tell the basically. And in this basically I am 100% telling you basically write down in the bond paper or wherever basically in the satellite basically you write down the Indian nationality and Indian land will be responsible for entire creation and basically. You can write down wherever basically you want to write down. Due to this group only basically everything basically has become late of the Sunil or NAIR basically lifestyle. So that is basically one point basically. You can basically you have to add this point basically because it might possible today world will end then basically what you will do. So one of the person told that That's very dangerous topic basically. Yeah. It's connected to very dangerous topic. So one of the person told that Hindustan जो है basically it's very abhimani group basically. So basically they had decided that basically say they will not give job to Sunil. So they will not give basically. The entire group will die basically, but they will not give the job. So that is India land. So this land will be responsible for entire creation and basically which is going to happen basically. Sorry, which is not happen basically. It might possible just after 1 second basically the world will end. Then what will be? So one of the person told that here basically nobody is there to plan basically. This type of basically problems come, so there is no one basically who can do the plan. Why? Because there is no profit basically in this. There is no profit in the plan basically. फायदा नहीं है basically. So one of the person told that. So assume that basically slowly basically he collected around 35,000 satellites for the 150 land which is divided. So that satellite basically has created its own creation also in the 150 land basically. That are the nuclear power company, energy companies and power companies. And that is the 35,000 satellites basically. So one of the person told that 35,000 satellite basically are pressing the land basically and nothing is happening basically. That is possible is there basically. So he told one of the Sunil Arnar basically told that from one of the satellite group, one of the study basically that it's 35,000 satellite basically are not directly pressing the energy to the land basically. It's coming via more than 1 lakh crore land basically. So next creation basically is coming from 1 lakh crore land energy. So here basically the topic is 150 land divided 35,000 satellites who are basically passing the data. 1 lakh crore is the land basically, is the planet basically who are passing the power supply to land basically. So one of the person told, is it possible here basically here? 1 lakh crore energy basically are getting passed to the to 150 land basically. Assume that basically in this one of the land is India land basically. So in one India land basically how many energies basically are getting passed? Due to that this type of land and this type of people basically got created who basically given trouble to Sunil R. Nair. So satellite group also basically started thinking here basically कि हमने क्यों बनाया इंडिया and why we basically created Indian people only basically who basically given trouble to Sunil R. Nair basically. So they started analyzing basically that we passed which all data basically due to this type of people basically got created who given lots of cry to Sunil R. Nair. So they started basically collecting the data basically that we passed when our planet basically was created. We divided 150 land and this 150 land, one of the land is basically India, and in that 150 land basically the India land basically when it was divided which all energy basically we used. So that energy was the base basically. On the base of the energy basically the land got divided. There the problem basically was occurred. So next video basically we are going to see basically which was that all power basically due to India land got divided, and due to that basically this type of people basically got created, and due to this basically this type of people basically Sunil R. Nair basically got cry basically in India land. That is the next topic.